Welcome to Season 3, Episode 17 of Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. I'm your host, Angela Watson, and I'm here to speak life, encouragement, and truth into the minds and hearts of educators and get you energized for the week ahead. Today, I'm going to share some thoughts on intentional connectivity, why my phone no longer controls me, and how you can take charge too. Visit truthforteachers.com to get the transcript, links to recommended resources, and to share your thoughts on the show. It's the first thing you do when you wake up. It's the last thing you do before bed. And it's the default activity that you fill your time with all throughout the day. Whenever you're bored, procrastinating, or just want a little hit of something that makes you feel good. It's what you do when you don't even know how you feel, but it's been a little while since you've done it, so probably time to do it again. Yep, I'm talking about checking your phone, and I used to have a serious problem with it. The thing is, I know I'm not alone in that. A Newsweek article called "Is the Internet Making Us Crazy? What the New Research Says" cites a survey in which most respondents, with the exception of those over age 50, check text messages, email, or their social network, quote, all the time or every 15 minutes. Over and over all day long, we'll scroll through 9 boring or depressing posts in order to get to that 10th one that gives us the laugh or recognition or excitement or just enjoyable interaction that we crave. Sounds a lot like a gambling addiction, doesn't it? Playing the slots and losing over and over again, but holding out for that rare moment when there's actually a payoff. The article goes on to explain that we're not so much choosing to use our devices constantly, but we're feeling compelled to, or, quote, dragged into it by the potential of short-term rewards. Every ping could be social or professional opportunity, and we get a mini reward, a little squirt of dopamine for answering the bell. Cumulatively, the effect is potent and hard to resist. So connectivity addiction is something that is normal in our culture, yet clearly not healthy. But you don't need me to tell you that, and you don't need stats and research studies, because you already know it's a problem from watching your own life or the lives of people around you. You already know how crappy it feels to check Facebook first thing in the morning out of habit, and then look up at the clock and realize a ridiculous amount of time has passed, and you're now feeling angry about the political posts you saw, and depressed by the news of a tragedy that happened to a friend, and annoyed by the pettiness and redundancy of half of your feed, and frustrated at yourself for getting sucked into another internet black hole when you clicked on an article to read, and then another, and then another. What if you'd just gotten out of bed and started your day by mentally and physically preparing? What if you'd laid there and read a book or an ebook for a few minutes instead, something that is uplifting and energizing and gets you ready to start the day? See, the thing is, we're not just wasting time by checking our devices compulsively. We're not just putting ourselves in a bad mood by repeating habits that we actually don't feel very good about. We're also killing our own ability to concentrate and be productive. I started noticing how bad I felt when I checked social media and my email all day long. I justified my internet usage as a way to take a break. But taking a break from working on the computer by doing something else on the computer is not a true break. I'd spend a half an hour reading and writing on social media and then wonder why I still didn't have the energy and focus needed to do more reading and writing for my work. I also started noticing how the constant device checking left my brain with no mental bandwidth to problem solve. Like most people, my best ideas come when my mind has the ability to wander a little bit. You know how you can just rack your brain for hours trying to solve a problem, but the moment you stop thinking about it and you get behind the wheel of a car or you go for a walk or jump into the shower, all of a sudden the solution just comes into focus. Well, that's because you finally stopped stimulating your brain for a few minutes and you had time to daydream. We are losing the ability to be still and to let answers surface from that quiet place within us because we're checking our phones in every spare moment. We're constantly bombarding our minds with more input instead of allowing ourselves time to process what we already know. So if we know that these habits aren't working for us, why do we keep doing them? Well, because of the very fact that they are habits. We do them automatically without even realizing it. So change, therefore, hinges upon our ability to pay attention, to notice what we're doing, and to be conscious of our choices. It's a matter of reaching for the device and thinking, wait, do you really want to see what's on Facebook right now? Or are you just killing time during TV commercials? Could you talk to your husband, or pet the cat, or make a cup of tea, or just sit here and relax for a moment? You're always saying you have no time to relax. Here's your chance. And you're just looking for something else to do and think about. Wouldn't that feel better if you made one of these other choices? And then, because it would feel better, you do that instead. And each time you make that other choice, it becomes more and more automatic until the connectivity addiction is broken. I finally broke my connectivity addiction after running myself into the ground last summer. I went to 2 conferences back to back, and the travel, speaking, and social interactions just about killed me. I spent the better part of 7 days tweeting, Instagramming, Facebooking, texting, boxing, and emailing pretty much nonstop. And that's when I wasn't presenting or having lengthy face-to-face conversations with hundreds of people. Afterwards, it was kind of like eating half a chocolate cake where just the thought of sugar will make you sick to your stomach for a while. I had no desire to use social media at all for several days after I arrived home. And I actually left the house to run errands without bringing my phone with me for the first time that I could remember. After a couple days of digital detox, I felt so much better. And I wanted to maintain that clarity of mind and that calmness for as long as possible, maybe even permanently. The problem was I couldn't go cold turkey forever. I had to use social media for professional purposes, and I didn't want to give it up completely for personal purposes. Still determined that my phone would no longer control me, I decided to put boundaries in place for myself, and I watched to see what happened. It honestly shocked me how simple it was to rewire my brain so that I no longer craved those constant interactions online. It wasn't easy per se. I had to keep reminding myself how awful I felt when I checked my phone constantly so that I wouldn't default back to my old ways. But it was simple. 3 basic habits enabled me to make the change and maintain it. These were the 3 habits that I made. First, I reconfigured notification settings to fit with my connectivity goals. Secondly, I created morning and bedtime routines that were more enjoyable than checking my phone. And third, I gave my mind space to wander during those moments of boredom or procrastination instead of reaching automatically for my phone. I created these 3 habits by paying attention to when I was tempted to check my phone or go online and noticing how I felt when I did or didn't indulge. The transformation process was surprisingly quick. I trained myself to check my phone when I truly wanted to check it, not out of boredom or avoidance or obsession, but because I had a purpose. I used social media mostly in the evenings on my iPad or laptop when I was relaxed and comfortable and not in a rush. No more squinting at a tiny screen and tapping away at a tiny little keyboard to communicate on the fly. Within about 2 weeks, I no longer felt compelled to look at my phone all day long. I no longer started my day by checking my phone and checked it last thing at night. I no longer used my phone as a tool to help me avoid boredom or to procrastinate. Now, I have to continue to be mindful of these habits every single day because it's super easy to fall back into old patterns, especially when it's socially acceptable to do so. But I can truly say that at this point in my life, my phone no longer holds that same power over me. And that's what we all want, right? We don't want to give up our devices altogether. We want to be in control of our phones instead of letting our phones control us. We want to stop draining our focus and energy on mindless social media consumption and constant refreshing of our email accounts. We want to stop checking our phones out of habit and to get online when we really want to and we can truly enjoy it. We want to use our phones as a tool to communicate rather than as a taskmaster that controls our time. If you agree with these statements, intentional connectivity might just be the support you need to turn that vision into a reality. Here is how the Intentional Connectivity Challenge works. It takes 21 days to create a habit. So I'm inviting you to join me in a totally free 21-day Intentional Connectivity Challenge for teachers. Beginning on May 1st, I'm going to give you one new habit each week to try. It's the same 3 habits that I mentioned to you earlier. It'll take less than 2 minutes per week to participate. All you have to do is read the message that I send to you via email and implement the idea. The habit that I'm going to share with you will not add anything to your plate. It won't be one more thing that you have to do. It's going to actually eliminate a time waster and immediately free up your time and increase your mental focus. Remember, the goal is not to give up social media or stop using email. We're not doing that even for a short period of time in this challenge. The goal is to learn how to be intentional about our connectivity, to get on our devices because we want to and not because we feel compelled to. So it's very simple to be successful. Spend 2 minutes reading your challenge for the week ahead. Try out that single new habit. By the end of the 3rd week, you will have developed 3 simple habits that put you in control of your phone instead of vice versa. I want you to make a commitment to try this out by signing up for the challenge and letting me check in with you via email each week for 21 days. You don't have to write any reminders to yourself or revisit this blog post. The challenge is going to show up right in your inbox, and it'll explain exactly what and how to do it. You'll be able to reply to my email to ask a question or share your progress. You'll also be able to see the progress of other teachers and get their support. Let's not kid ourselves here. This is not as simple as just saying, well, I'll just turn off my phone in the evenings and I just won't look. If it were that easy, we would have all done it a long time ago, right? Throughout the 21 days, I want you to have support so that you know you're not alone in this. I want us to take this challenge together and hold one another accountable. You can use the hashtag intentional connectivity on whatever form of social media you prefer and to find other teachers who are participating. And you can check out their results for encouragement. If you want to invite your friends to join, you can share the blog post about intentional connectivity on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media you like, and hashtag it intentional connectivity. Now, it's a bit ironic that we're using our devices to connect around this challenge, but the goal, again, is not to give up social media, not to give up email altogether. It's to be intentional about when we use it and why. So in this case, we're using social media to spread the word so more teachers can participate and start creating change in their lives. And we're using it to share our results and encourage one another. I can't think of a better use for social media than that. We're going to start on Sunday, May 1st, 2016. And by the end of the month, I believe you're going to notice a huge improvement in your ability to focus, in your ability to work productively, your ability to sleep at night, and your ability to be fully present with the people that you love. My life's work is in supporting and motivating and encouraging teachers. And intentional connectivity is something that I am really passionate about helping teachers achieve because the retraining and habit forming process is so simple and will produce such powerful results in your life. I know this because I've lived it. And almost every teacher that I talk with feels like it's impossible to turn off his or her brain at night and to really rest. Teachers feel like there's always too much to do. There's too many things to remember and just not enough time for any of it. Being more intentional about your connectivity habits is the easiest, fastest, most powerful way that I know of to change that. So let's do this intentional connectivity challenge together so that your summer is filled with purpose and presence, so that it's filled with peace and productivity. Let's stop using our devices to waste time on unintentional breaks and procrastination, and stop allowing them to keep us from fully enjoying and experiencing our lives. We don't have to settle for a lifetime of feeling controlled by our devices. We can make connectivity into something better, something more intentional, and we can do it together. So go to bit.ly/intentional connectivity or just go to my blog, thecornerstoneforteachers.com/blog. You'll find the post there and sign up. You can also check your favorite form of social media and look for that hashtag intentional connectivity, and that will connect you with a place to sign up to. I'd like to leave you with a motivational quote for the week ahead that I call the takeaway truth. The takeaway truth I want you to remember this week is from Steve Mayer. He said, "You don't decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future." So let's create habits for intentional connectivity together. I'll see you in the challenge. You can do this. And remember, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it. Have a great week. Truth for Teachers is a proud member of the Education Podcast Network. Podcasts for educators, podcasts by educators. For more great podcast recommendations, go to edupodcastnetwork.com. That's edupodcastnetwork.com.